In the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, where vibrant streets glow with lights and dreams intertwine, twin brothers Jordan and Jaden Carter step into Iron Fist Boxing Gym with a burning desire to conquer the ring. But what happens when two black teenagers face discrimination and bullying in a world that doesn't welcome them? Will the venomous taunts and unjust punches extinguish the fire within them? Or will they ignite an unyielding strength? Each night in the shadows, they train alongside their father, a former soldier. Can you guess what awaits them? All right, my dear audience, brace yourselves for a story that will leave you in awe. Take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you truly connect with what I'm sharing here. And drop a comment below to let me know where you're watching from and what time it is for you. It's always thrilling to see someone joining us from all corners of the world. Under the flickering neon lights of Atlanta's bustling commercial district, Iron Fist Boxing Gym emerges like a dark, defiant corner, where the scent of sweat saturates the air and the thud of punching bags echoes like the heartbeat of unfulfilled dreams. The stained walls, marked by thousands of punches, seem to whisper tales of victories and forgotten defeats. Jordan and Jaden Carter, 15-year-old black twins with tall, lean frames, enter this space, their hearts pounding in their chests. They're no strangers to pressure. The years playing basketball in Decatur taught them how to stand tall before a crowd. But this is a different arena, an unfamiliar world, where the gazes of other fighters cut like sharpened blades. Jordan tightens the straps of his boxing gloves, trying to hide the anxiety churning in his stomach. Jaden, standing beside him, adjusts his stance, his deep brown eyes scanning the room, taking in every detail. The gloves hanging on racks, the mirrors reflecting faint light, and the unfamiliar faces watching them. They're among the few black trainees at Iron Fist, a gym dominated by white fighters, led by Frank Dawson, a seasoned coach with a face as stern as granite. His faded t-shirt clings to his wiry frame, and his eyes, sharp as a blade, seem to pierce through every intention. Jordan feels that gaze sweep over him, not as a welcome, but as an assessment. He swallows hard, trying to suppress the feeling of being an outsider. The first training session is a blow to their pride. Ethan Brooks and Caleb Reed, two 17-year-old fighters with undefeated records in youth tournaments, stand in the corner, their broad shoulders and arrogant smirks commanding attention. They say nothing, but their scornful glances speak volumes. Whispers spread like toxic smoke through the air. Do these guys think they belong here? They'll quit in a week. Jordan feels his shoulders tense, as if each word is a stone hurled at his chest. Jaden, quieter by nature, grits his teeth, his hands clenching into fists. Their synchronicity, a bond forged in the womb, means one's pain instantly ripples to the other, like waves crashing on a shore. During a sparring drill, Ethan steps forward, his red gloves glinting under the lights. "Let's see what the new guy's got," he says, his tone laced with mockery. His punch comes fast, harder than necessary, landing on Jaden's shoulder with a sharp thud. Jaden stumbles, his feet not yet accustomed to the slick ring floor. Snickers echo from the corner, cutting like razor blades. Jordan feels heat rush to his face, itching to charge forward. But Jaden's eyes, sharp, restrained, hold him back. Frank Dawson stands a few steps away, shaking his head, his lips pressed tight. "That's your initiation," he says, his voice flat, as if Jaden's pain is just part of the ritual. No apology, no intervention, only a cold, piercing silence, sharper than any punch. The weeks that follow are a slow, systematic torment. Ethan and Caleb turn every session into a stage for humiliation. "Boxing's not a street game, kids," Caleb sneers as Jordan slips during a footwork drill. "Learn to punch before you dream of being fighters," Ethan adds, his smile like a fresh cut. Those words aren't just words, they're blades, slicing deep into the twins' self-esteem, making them feel small, lost in their own aspirations. But what stings most is Frank's silence. He stands there watching, arms crossed, his gaze indifferent. Jordan catches that look once, and his heart sinks. Frank doesn't care. As long as the Brooks and Reed families, generous sponsors with their gleaming cars parked outside, keep paying, he'll let everything slide. Each night as the silvery moonlight filters through the window of their small Decatur home, Jordan and Jaden quietly pack their bags, hiding bruises under long-sleeve shirts. They don't want their parents to see, don't want their mother, Karen, to worry, or their father, Samuel, to rage. But in the darkness of their shared room, when the world slips into sleep, they lie in their beds, their eyes meeting through the dim light. No words are needed. They understand each other. Jordan's pain is Jaden's pain. Jaden's humiliation is Jordan's humiliation. And deep within their hearts, a flame of determination begins to burn. They can't let the taunts define them. They won't give up. In that shared gaze, a silent vow is etched. They will fight, not just in the ring, but for their very dignity. In a quiet corner of Decatur's neighborhood behind the modest Carter family home, an old shed stands silently under the silvery moonlight. Its weathered wooden walls, scarred and coated with the dust of time, conceal a blazing secret. Inside, a flickering fluorescent bulb pulses faintly, like the heartbeat of a dream being reborn. This is where Jordan and Jaden Carter, the 15-year-old twins, find sanctuary, a place to heal wounds not just on their bodies, but deep within their souls. Each night, as the lights from neighboring houses fade, the shed transforms into their arena, where punches are not mere actions, but declarations. Samuel Carter, their father, stands there, his sturdy frame like a statue carved from his years as a Marine. His eyes, sharp as blades, miss nothing. Jordan's limping steps, Jaden's wince as he peels off his shirt to reveal a purple bruise, and the heavy silence that has replaced their usual lively chatter. He knows something is wrong, but he waits. One evening when Jordan clumsily drops his training bag, sweat-soaked boxing gloves spilling onto the floor, Samuel waits no longer. He grasps his son's shoulders, pulling them into the shed, where the dim light casts shadows on his face, stern yet brimming with love. "Tell me," he says, his voice low but resonant, like a command that cannot be defied. Under the wavering light, Jordan and Jaden open their hearts. Their voices tremble, not from fear, but from the pain held back too long. They speak of the unexpected punches from Ethan and Caleb, the racist taunts that cut like razors. "Boxing's not for people like you." They describe the cold stare of Frank Dawson, the coach who turns a blind eye to every insult as long as the Brooks and Reed family's money keeps flowing into his pockets. Jordan bows his head, his hands clenching, as if to crush the memories of those humiliating training sessions. Jaden, quieter by nature, stares into the void, his eyes glinting with suppressed rage. Samuel listens, his face hardening, not with blind anger, but with a steely resolve. He will not let his sons fall. "They want you to believe you don't belong there," Samuel says, his voice like a slow-burning flame, warm yet unrelenting. "But you will prove them wrong, not with words, but with strength." Those words are a beacon, banishing the darkness in the twins' hearts. From that night, the shed is no longer a storage space for old junk. It becomes a secret ring where Samuel imparts the combat techniques he learned in the military. Not the flashy boxing with its graceful footwork, but brutal, lightning-fast strikes aimed at an opponent's weaknesses. He hangs a heavy punching bag from the rafters, its chains clinking with every sway under the force of their blows. Each evening, as the neighborhood slips into slumber, the shed comes alive with the thud-thud of fists against the bag and Samuel's stern guiding voice. He teaches them to move fluidly, gliding past opponents like shadows. He shows them how to use speed to overcome strength, how to channel anger into a sharpened blade rather than a fire that consumes them. Jordan, with his fiery spirit, pours sweat into practicing hook punches, each blow tearing through the shame Ethan and Caleb planted in him. Jaden, introspective and analytical, presses his lips together as he masters defensive tactics, his eyes lighting up when he discovers a way to counterattack unexpectedly. Their synchronicity, a bond from infancy, becomes a formidable weapon. When Jordan leans to dodge an imaginary blow, Jaden mirrors him, like reflections in a mirror. Every movement, every breath blends seamlessly, forging them into an invincible duo. Under Samuel's guidance, the twins don't just strengthen their muscles, they build an unbreakable mindset, a belief that they don't just belong in the ring, they can dominate it. Each punch into the bag is an act of defiance. Each drop of sweat on the floor is a vow. In the shed's darkness, the fire in Jordan and Jaden's hearts blazes, not to destroy, but to shape them into true warriors. They know a greater battle lies ahead, not just against Ethan and Caleb, but against a system that has tried to strangle their dreams. And in the glances they exchange under the flickering light, they see a promise. They will be ready. Dear audience, take a moment to catch your breath or grab a glass of water, then dive back into this gripping tale. There are thrilling twists still to come. And please drop a comment below to share where you're watching from and what time it is for you. It's always exciting to see someone joining us from all corners of the globe. Comment 1 if you're loving this story so we can keep bringing you more captivating tales like this one. 3 months after those long nights in the old shed, the fire in Jordan and Jaden Carter's hearts has smoldered, waiting for its moment to erupt. The opportunity arrives not as a gentle light, but as a storm. The Southeast Showdown, a regional boxing tournament held at the Peachtree Sports Center in Atlanta. The vast arena, with its rows of seats packed with spectators, is where they will face their destiny. Jordan and Jaden, though novice fighters with green belts, boldly choose to compete in the open weight class, a daring decision that pits them against any opponent, including seasoned fighters like Ethan Brooks and Caleb Reed, red belt holders with unshakable arrogance and undefeated records. In their small Decatur home, Samuel Carter, their father, rests his hands on his son's shoulders, his eyes like tempered steel. This isn't just a fight, he says, his voice deep and resonant like ocean waves. This is your declaration, that no one gets to define you except you. On the day of the tournament, the air at Peachtree hums with cheers, the squeak of rubber soles on the floor, and the sharp scent of sweat permeating every breath. Blazing stage lights beam down on the ring, where red and black belts gleam on the waists of veteran fighters. Jordan and Jaden step forward, their green belts humble but radiant under the glow. Symbols of an unyielding beginning. Jordan tightens his gloves, the feel of leather against his palms igniting a surge of adrenaline. He glances at Jaden, who stands tall, his deep brown eyes scanning the crowd without a flicker of doubt. In that moment, their synchronicity, like two hearts beating to the same rhythm, becomes an invisible shield, guarding them against the crowd's scrutinizing stares. Ethan and Caleb stand in the opposite corner, their broad shoulders and smug grins marking them as self-crowned kings. They eye the twins with undisguised contempt. Who do they think they are? Caleb mutters, loud enough for nearby spectators to turn their heads. Ethan smirks, his red gloves glinting like a challenge. Jordan feels heat rush to his ears, but he holds back, recalling his father's words. Anger is a weapon, but only if you control it. Jaden, with his quiet demeanor, presses his lips together, his eyes alight with the cold focus honed through countless nights in the shed. They don't respond. They don't need to. The ring will speak for them. The first match pits Jaden against Caleb. The crowd holds its breath, expecting an easy victory for the red belt fighter who has crushed dozens of opponents before. The bell rings, sharp as a blade's edge. Caleb charges, his opening punch whistling through the air, powerful and ferocious. But Jaden is no longer the stumbling boy from 3 months ago. He glides to the side, graceful as a hunting panther, his feet moving with the precision Samuel drilled into every muscle. Caleb's punch hits only air, and before he can recover, Jaden strikes back. A hook to the ribs, swift and merciless, leaves Caleb gasping, his face contorted in pain. The crowd murmurs, unable to believe their eyes. Jaden doesn't pause. He advances, his gloves flashing like blades, delivering a straight punch to Caleb's chin. The dry thud echoes. Caleb collapses to the canvas, his eyes wide with shock. The first round isn't even over, but the fight is done. The referee raises Jaden's hand, and the crowd erupts, their applause drowning out the bell. The Iron Fist gym, watching from the stands, falls silent, as if the air has been sucked from the room. Jordan steps into the ring next, facing Ethan. Ethan's pride, already torn by Caleb's defeat, drives him to attack the moment the bell sounds. His punches come in a relentless storm, each blow fueled by anger and desperation. Jordan feels the pressure, each hit landing on his gloves like a sledgehammer. But he doesn't panic. In his mind, Samuel's voice echoes, "Wait, find the opening. then strike. Jordan holds his defensive stance, his eyes locked on Ethan, tracking every move. And then it comes, a moment when Ethan exposes his torso, his arm raised too high. Jordan doesn't hesitate. He closes the distance, quick as lightning, landing a hook to Ethan's stomach that doubles him over, his breath choked off. A sharp uppercut follows, slicing through the air like a sword. Ethan crumples to the canvas, his gloves hitting the floor, his eyes clouded with humiliation. The bell rings, ending the match. The referee declares Jordan the victor, and the crowd roars again, their cheers crashing like waves. The Iron Fist gym, once a symbol of invincibility, now sits in the stunned silence. The arrogance of Ethan and Caleb, built over years of victories, dissolves like smoke before the twins' unexpected strength. Jordan and Jaden stand in the center of the ring, their breaths heavy but their eyes ablaze. They haven't just won a fight. They've shattered the invisible walls that Ethan, Caleb, and even Frank Dawson erected to confine them. In that moment, they feel not just like fighters, but like warriors, men who have turned pain into power, humiliation into a declaration. The crowd continues to cheer, but in the hearts of Jordan and Jaden, a fire burns brighter, ready for the challenges yet to come. The victory at Peachtree Sports Center isn't a gentle sunset closing a long day, but a spark igniting a raging storm. Jordan and Jaden Carter, the 15-year-old twins, step out of the ring, their breaths still heavy, hearts pounding with adrenaline. The green belts on their waists gleam under the streetlights, like medals of unyielding resilience. Yet within them, the joy of triumph mingles with an uneasy premonition. They've shattered the arrogant walls of Ethan Brooks and Caleb Reed, but the cost of their vindication, they soon realize, is never cheap. In the darkness of the parking lot, where cars line up like motionless shadows, the storm breaks. Ethan and Caleb, their pride torn apart by public defeat, cannot let the twins walk away in glory. They lunge from the shadows, eyes blazing red with humiliation and blind rage. "You think you beat me?" Ethan roars, his voice cracking like shattered glass. A sudden punch from behind slams into Jordan's back, sending him staggering, his knees buckling onto the cold concrete. Jaden just steps away, feels his brother's pain as if it were his own, but before he can react, Caleb's fist crashes into his shoulder, fierce and brutal. The nearby crowd screams, but the noise is like distant wind in the twins' ears. Time slows. Their hearts thump loudly, yet the instincts Samuel forged in the shed awaken like a beast roused from slumber. Jordan rolls, dodging Ethan's second punch, his still-gloved hands scraping the ground with a harsh rasp. He springs up, lightning fast, his eyes burning with resolve. No words are spoken. He unleashes a hook, precise and merciless, striking Ethan's jaw. The thud echoes, and Ethan collapses, clutching his face, blood seeping through his fingers. Across the lot, Jaden, despite his aching shoulder, sways to evade Caleb's blow. He retaliates with a low kick, aimed straight at Caleb's knee. Caleb crumples, his face contorted, a groan of pain blending into the humid Atlanta night. The brawl is brief but ferocious, a lawless battle where only the strongest stand. Security guards rush in, their shouts slicing through the darkness, pulling Ethan and Caleb away from the twins. The bullies, now bloodied and humiliated, are dragged off, their eyes still smoldering with hatred, but stripped of all authority. Back at their small Decatur home, Jordan and Jaden sit silently in the living room, the warm yellow lamplight failing to soothe the storm in their hearts. They clean their fresh bruises, but the real pain lies not in their bodies, but in the lingering question. Was their victory worth it if it sparked such hatred? Samuel, their father, stands at the doorway, his gaze sharp yet tender. He says nothing, only rests his hands on his son's shoulders, as if to pour strength into them. But peace is fleeting. At midnight, as the clock ticks its slow rhythm, a heavy, ominous knock echoes through the house, like a drum beat heralding a new battle. Daniel Brooks and Nathan Reed, fathers of Ethan and Caleb, stand on the porch, their faces flushed with fury. The outdoor light casts harsh shadows, highlighting their angry creases and hostile, glinting eyes. "We need to talk," Daniel growls, his voice trembling with restraint, "about what your boys did to ours." Samuel, with the calm of a warrior who's faced battlefields, steps onto the porch, the door cracked open, the security chain still latched. He meets their gaze fearless, but his heart is heavy. He knows these men aren't here just for their sons. They've come to defend their wounded egos, to preserve the world they believe they rule. The exchange escalates swiftly. Daniel accuses the twins of cheating, branding them thugs who don't know the rules. Nathan, his voice icy, lets slip racist undertones. People like them don't belong in boxing. Each word is a dagger, cutting not just into Samuel, but into Jordan and Jaden, who peer through their bedroom window, their hearts tightening at the familiar sting of injustice. When Daniel tries to shove the door, Samuel's patience snaps. He unlatches the chain, steps outside, and slams the door behind him. "You've gone too far," he says, his voice low like rolling thunder. A brief scuffle erupts. Samuel, with the combat skills of a former Marine, easily overpowers both men. A precise punch to Daniel's stomach leaves him doubled over, gasping. A swift arm lock sends Nathan crashing to the porch, his face pale with pain. Police sirens tear through the night, red and blue lights flashing across the quiet street. Daniel and Nathan are fined for trespassing and disorderly conduct, their arrogance crumbling under the officers' cold stares. The fallout comes like a whirlwind. Ethan and Caleb are banned from competition by the Georgia Boxing Federation, their reputations shattered like glass under a boot. The Brooks and Reed families face intense community backlash. Daniel's insurance company loses major contracts, clients turning away as the news spreads. Nathan, a prominent lawyer, faces an internal investigation, the shadow of failure trailing his every step. Iron Fist Gym, once a symbol of dominance, comes under scrutiny by the Georgia Boxing Federation as other parents speak out, sharing stories of bullying their children endured in silence. Jordan and Jaden, sitting in their room, feel the shift. They've won, but this victory isn't theirs alone. It's a voice for those who've been silenced, deemed unworthy. In the quiet darkness of Decatur's night, they know the storm has passed, but the scars and the lessons will remain forever. 6 weeks after the storm at Peachtree Sports Center, Atlanta has transformed. Iron Fist Boxing Gym, once a proud symbol of power and privilege, now stands as an empty shell. Its stained walls, once echoing with the thud of punching bags and arrogant laughter, are silent, cloaked in dust. Frank Dawson, the coach with the piercing gaze, has left the city quietly, his coaching license revoked by the Georgia Boxing Federation like a blade severing his legacy. He leaves behind not glory, but a tale of failure, a bitter testament that power built on injustice will crumble. Meanwhile, in another corner of Atlanta, Jordan and Jaden Carter, the 15-year-old twins, are writing a new chapter, not with punches, but with the radiance of resilience and hope. Apex Combat Academy, nestled in the vibrant Midtown district, becomes the twins' new home. This gym, with its gleaming mirrors and the scent of fresh wood, breathes a different air. Olivia Grant, a former boxer with a warm smile and hands calloused from years in the ring, leads the space. Her philosophy, boxing is for uplifting, not crushing, is a soothing breeze, dispelling memories of the suffocating days at Iron Fist. Olivia sees something in Jordan and Jaden. Not just talent, but an unyielding fire in their eyes, the same light that carried them through darkness. "You boys have a story to tell," she says, her voice rich with warmth, as she invites them to assist with youth classes. The offer is more than an opportunity. It's an affirmation. They belong here. At Apex, Jordan and Jaden rise swiftly, like young grass stretching toward the sun after rain. Within 3 months, they earn red belts, each milestone a testament to the long nights training in the old shed. But what makes them shine isn't the belts. It's their new role as big brothers and mentors to younger students. During one session, afternoon sunlight streams through the windows, illuminating the ring where Jordan kneels, adjusting a 10-year-old boy's stance. "Don't fear the pressure," he says, his voice gentle but firm. "Stand tall and it'll pass." The boy, his eyes flickering with fear and resolve, nods, his small hands tightening around his gloves. Across the room, Jaden stands beside a teenage girl, guiding her through a straight punch, his movements fluid yet precise. "Let it come from your heart," he says, tapping her chest lightly. The girl smiles for the first time in weeks, feeling her own strength. The twins' synchronicity, once a weapon for surviving Ethan and Caleb's brutal punches, now becomes a tool for inspiration. When Jordan moves, Jaden responds, like two hearts beating in harmony. The young students watch them not just with admiration, but with belief that they too can overcome fear and stand firm against injustice. Jordan and Jaden don't just teach boxing, they teach how to turn pain into power, humiliation into dignity. Every smile from a student, every punch thrown with newfound confidence, proves their story is spreading, touching hearts once wounded. The twin story doesn't stay confined within Apex's walls. It ripples across Atlanta like a breeze carrying seeds of hope. The Georgia Boxing Association, moved by their journey, invites Jordan and Jaden to join an anti-bullying training program. In packed workshops, they stand before coaches and parents, their voices calm yet powerful, sharing tales of being mocked, belittled, and how they rose again. "No one deserves to be treated like they don't exist," Jaden says, his eyes alight, as if speaking to his 3 months ago self. Jordan, beside him, nods, adding, "And everyone has the right to fight for their place." Their words aren't just lessons. They're a flame, igniting hope in gyms across Georgia, urging them to build fair environments where no one is left behind. At home, in the small Decatur kitchen, the Carter family gathers around the dining table, the warm yellow light casting glows on their smiles. Samuel, whose hands once gripped rifles on battlefields, now gently holds his wife Karen's hand, his eyes brimming with pride and relief. The bruises on Jordan and Jaden's bodies have faded, but the lessons of resilience and justice remain etched in their souls, like invisible, enduring scars. Karen, the mother who once worried each night her sons returned with heavy eyes, now smiles, her heart lighter. "What you boys have done for this world," she whispers, her voice thick with emotion. Jordan and Jaden exchange a glance, their silent synchronicity unbroken. Jordan dreams of becoming a coach, bringing Apex's light to Atlanta's darkest corners. Jaden, introspective, envisions opening his own gym, a place where every child, no matter their background, is welcomed. But above all, they know they've changed not just their own lives, but the community around them. The punches thrown in the old shed's darkness, the sweat dripping on its concrete floor, led them to this light, a light that shines not just for them, but for all who once felt unworthy. As streetlights twinkle over Decatur, the Carter family sits together sharing stories of the future. Outside, Atlanta pulses with its vibrant rhythm, but something has shifted. Jordan and Jaden's story, like a torch, is illuminating dark paths, reminding everyone that justice isn't just a destination, but a journey of unyielding hearts. That light, they know, will never fade. The story of Jordan and Jaden Carter proves that resilience, family love, and a thirst for justice can break any barrier. From punches thrown in darkness, they've kindled a flame of hope, reminding us all that everyone deserves respect and a chance to shine. This lesson is for everyone. Never let injustice define you. Dear American audience, what do you think of their journey? Share your feelings in the comments, hit the like button if this story touched your heart, and subscribe to catch more inspiring tales. Don't forget to share this video with friends to spread the light of courage. 2 related stories await you at the bottom of the screen. Check them out now.